I like to like really lecture for about an hour, just like last class, and then give you the rest of the time to work or go off on your own. I don't really like holding you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So if you go to the lessons, I have module two up, and I want this class to be more of a fun class. It doesn't mean I don't want you to take it seriously. You should 100% take it seriously. And William, I got you in attendance. You should 100% take it seriously, but you know, again, I'm a little bit less informal. So let's take a look at if you have absolutely not gone in here and said and look and did the intro to Blender VFX videos, you have to. This class is about particles, explosions, compositing, whatever. The lessons are super short. Like this one's 20 minutes. This is the actual test video. This one is, like, sorry, another test video. Did I not have the? Oh, I think those two are combined. Here's another one. It's 20 minutes. So like go through and watch these. You're not going to understand the assignment otherwise, and you're not going to be able to do the homework. So this week's module, if you go inside of here, where I show you guys how to do like a character moving through, how to animate like, character moving through rigid bodies. This one's about 25 minutes. Same thing here. This is about 6 minutes. And then all this good stuff. You build a house. So really take advantage of this time. If everybody is kind of falling a little behind or something on the assignment that's due, um, I'll extend it. I'll extend it, to maybe next Tuesday or something. Maybe I'll just do that anyway. But the problem with that is the more I start extending things, the more it kind of sets a precedence for you guys to not really dive in and do the work or get the work done, or you'll wait till the night before. In this class, you cannot wait till the night before. It just doesn't work that way. So anyway, so right off the bat, lessons are up. You have to do this one, and you should definitely do this one. I'm going to go over this particular lesson together now. What I'm really going to do is go over the homework, so the homework itself is this explosive urban design and collaboration, right? So if I go inside of here, your homework assignment is you're going to go through and you're going to if you're an undergrad student, you don't necessarily have to team up with somebody. But the grad students, you guys need to do something that's a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to have you guys get in pairs. And what you're going to essentially do is the assignment is this line here. Students will design and implement a small urban city featuring 5 unique buildings. A rocket or projectile system will interact with these buildings, showcasing dynamic destruction. Graduate students will collaborate with a peer to merge projects into a more detailed portfolio-ready urban scene. So you might be like, well, rockets, destruction, all that stuff. Again, if you go through all of these lessons, you'll see that, I have this guy running. I have, this pretty much destruction going on. See how that goes through and it blows it up? Like all of the lessons are there that show you how to do all of it. It's just putting it together. I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to sort of demo what the assignment's going to be in this lesson here. So what I want you to do is, sorry, I was like working on a bus in Blender for this game that we're doing. So I do use it professionally too, just so to kind of put it out there for y'all. So I'm going to go to File, New here, and I'm going to go to General. And so we're just going to start with a clean scene here. Now, there's things I'm going to be leaving out in the doing the assignment part, and that's stuff that is like how to import like packages. Packages are like add-ons to Blender. So for example, if I hit N like Nancy, you'll see if you have Blender open right now, you're not going to have this building tools here. This is what you're going to use to make a building. This is pretty cool if you're doing any sort of VFX for your films and you need to build a city, like a digital city for an opening shot or something. This is a free add-on that helps you build buildings. All right, so um, again, let me double check. I'm sure I'm recording. Yep, I'm recording. So let me kind of demo the project. So first of all, how do you build a city, right? So I'm going to actually kind of demo how to use the interface through doing your homework assignment. Because throughout the homework assignments anyway, through those small video clips that, those small tutorials throughout the project, it kind of goes over a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you. I'm just showing you how to bring it all together. So right off the bat, when you have a Blender scene, it starts you off inside of your outliner. That's this area here. This shows you everything that's inside your scene. So we have a camera, we have a cube, we have a light. I'm going to go ahead and just select the cube and the light by holding this down and holding control, or cube, and I'm going to hit X and just delete those. All I really want is this camera. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a building. So with Buildify, again, as I mentioned, you're going to have to install this package. It's pretty easy. You just go to Edit, Preferences. There's add-ons here, and then you'll see in the video. You'll import the add-on inside of here, and then you'll save it. So it's a pretty easy thing. If you struggle with it, set up a time with me, and we'll meet, and I'll show you how to upload it. But it's again, it's inside of the video tutorial. So what's cool about Buildify is I can go in here and hit Create Floor Plan, and that'll create a floor plan here. But you'll notice that the balconies, the stairs, all this is grayed out. The reason for that is you have to build the
Mannaggia
building
te,
in.
che sono io che sono stressato perché sono andato a guardare se potevo apply, non
Hey,
c'è che l'opzione.
uh, thanks, Lorenzo. Yeah, if you don't mind muting it. So here's the thing. So in order to go ahead and create the building, we have to go into edit mode. So I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to go to edit mode here. And I'm going to go ahead and select face mode, select this face. And now this will allow me, you'll see all of these pieces will activate. So let's create like a really quick building. So I'm going to add some floors and the settings for these are actually down here in the left-hand corner. So I can actually say how many floors do I want? Well, let's say I want like, you know, whatever, 5 floors or let's say 3 floors. The next thing I can do is I could say, you know what? I want to add a roof. So I'm going to select this top face. I'm going to hit add roof and you can see I added a roof. And it's cool because you can add a flat roof, like if we're in an urban city. It's just got a lot of great options. You can also select multiple faces. So I'm going to select all of these faces here, except maybe this one. Well, I'll select these two. And inside of this, I'm going to go ahead and add a window. Boom. You can see it added windows. And I could say, you know what? I'm going to add 2 windows on the side. So it's a pretty awesome program for creating buildings really quickly for your films and your projects. We'll get into materials later, how to make this look realistic, but for now, we're just going to just sort of get into the basics here. Next thing is I want to add a door here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add door. I can play with the different, I can make a panel door. I can adjust the width of this door. It's just really cool. I can actually add an arch to this door that might make it a little bit more visually interesting. I probably wouldn't add the arch because the windows are square and it just sort of, it doesn't match the design. So that's the basics of creating a building. You could also do really cool stuff where, like, on the back of the building, I can add a balcony and I can adjust the width and height and stuff of that balcony. I'm going to undo that balcony by hitting Control Z because I want to keep this pretty simple. I would probably add the balcony as a separate object. So I'm going to hit Tab and go back to object mode, or you can click on object mode here. And I'm actually going to go to this view here, which is my viewport shading view. And I'm going to hit Shift A and I'm going to add a light. So go down to light here and I'm going to add a sun. And I'm going to hit G. And bear with me for 1 second. Let me pause the recording. All right, let's resume recording. Sorry about that. So here's my light. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my rotation tool and just rotate it this way so we can see it. Something like this. Another way of doing this is I can hit R for rotate. And then I can hit the Y key. And that'll just rotate it on this Y axis here. See how this has a Y axis? And that's another way of doing it. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our shot for how we can make this thing blown up, this building. I'm going to go ahead and click on my camera. I'm going to lock it in place. And again, we go through this in the videos, and I'm actually recording all of this, and I will post this. So once I have this, I can unlock it, and I can rotate around. And now, whenever I want to rotate this or render this camera, I can hit F12, and that'll render this camera. All right. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to make one more building. So let me go ahead and move this over. Even though this is my primary focus, I'm going to create 2 more smaller buildings next to it just for the sake of demoing our destruction awesomeness. So I'm going to hit create floor plan. You can see it made it there. I'm going to hit tab. I'm going to go to edit mode. And I'm also going to save this because this crashes a lot. So I'm going to name this class example. And I'm going to hit Control S a lot. You're not going to see me do that. You'll probably hear it, but it's important. So I'm going to go ahead and add floors. I'm just going to add maybe 2 floors on this building. I'm going to give it a roof. And the roof is going to be maybe a hip roof, this guy. And then I'm just going to select these faces. I'm going to hit the period on my keyboard to zoom in on this building. And I'm just going to add maybe round windows on this building. So let's add some windows. And I'm going to, let's see, window and fill type. We'll do Louver. And then I wonder if I can do a round window with those. That might be cool. Let's do circular. And then let's see. Oh, I guess I can't. It's only with the rectangle. I might just do, oh, they look so nice. Anyway, I'll just leave them circular. And then for here, I'll go ahead and add a door. And then for this one, I will add the arch and I'll make it a double door. So this is kind of a fancier building. I'm going to tab, go to object mode, and I'm just going to position it a little bit like this. I'm going to hit Shift D, and then I'm going to hit G. G is to move, and then Y, and I'm just going to move it over here so it's on the same line. All right, let's go ahead and hit F12 to render this. And let's go through our camera and let's lock it. And I know I'm going quickly, guys. Forgive me for that, but it's just because, again, this is all recorded and I don't want to bore you too much. So let's unlock this. I can rotate this. I can hit F12 now whenever I want just to check out that look. Now, let's talk a little bit how you can model some sidewalks and streets. I'm going to hit Shift A here. I'm going to go to Mesh. I'm going to go to Plane. I'm going to hit S and I'm going to scale this up. And I'm just going to nudge it over so it's in below this here. So, how do you model inside of Blender? Well, for your scenes, all you guys are going to have to do is really make these buildings. And again, at the end, I want to hear questions about your assignment. So this shouldn't be, this should be a little bit confusing. So say you want to create more buildings. You can be amazing, and I'll love you to death for this if you make a ton of buildings that are their own design. But you could just do something like this, like they do in movies where they kind of copy the buildings and they offset them. So let's say we want to make a street between these buildings, right? So with this plane selected, and I'm just going to go over here to this shaded mode, viewport shading mode, and I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to go to edit mode. Again, I'm constantly saving, by the way, and I'm going to go to these different tools. There's like loop cut here, which I can click, and I'm just going to add a cut or subdivision. So that cuts this plane in half. And this is just going to add some lines to make a street. Maybe I'll make a sidewalk. The hotkey, by the way, for this loop cut is Control R. So here's another one. This building to me is the most important because that's the one I'm going to blow up. So I'm probably going to just make the sidewalks just facing forward, not necessarily all the way around the buildings, but you guys can. So just adding some cuts here, and I will add a cut here for the sidewalk facing forward. This is for the street, and then this is another sidewalk here. All right, so these are just ways of cutting. Now, something else you can do is I can select, again in edit mode, I'm going to hit 3 here. Oops, let me hit escape and then go to face mode here. And I'm going to actually undo that last cut. I'm not using it. And then hit escape and then G. And you could actually go up here too and just use that selection tool. And I'm going to select all of the areas that I would like a street to be on. And this is going to be a funny street because it goes like this and around the building. So I'm going to hit E to extrude and I'm going to push those down. And I just created a street. Let's do it this way. Something like that. So there's my street and those are my buildings. Hitting Control S to save this, go back to object mode. All right. So we just created a small part of a city, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this building up. All right. So that requires a combination of rigid bodies and particle effects. Now, if you've had game classes with me in the past using Unity or even Unreal, if I've ever played around with it, the physics system is called rigid body in 3D worlds. We've talked about it a little bit last class, but just for the sake of clarity. All right, so a couple things. How do you blow this building up? Well, we need 2 buildings. So this building itself, we're going to give it its own material color, right? So I'm going to tab and I'm going to go to edit mode. This is how you apply material. And then I'm going to press A. A selects all of the faces on this building. I'm going to go and I'm going to create a new material here and I'm going to call this new building. And I'm going to make this color pink. And I'm going to hit assign. And in order to see that, I'm going to go here to shaded. Now I'm going to hit tab and go to object mode. And I'm going to create another material. So I'm going to click on this button here. And that's going to create a new material here. And I'm going to call this destroyed building. And the reason for this you'll see in a second, because you have to actually animate the destruction. So with this destroyed building material, I'm just going to make this brown or orange or something. Now, there is a tool, it's called cell fracture. And what this does, again, I'm going to save it, and you have to understand that I keep saying saving it because Unity crashes a lot. Okay? So inside of cell fracture, so I'm going to go to object here. It adds it down here under quick effects. I'm going to go to cell fracture and it opens this tool up here. So let's kind of talk a little bit about these tools. Tool the how you want it to cut or how you want it to become like the pieces that explode are these things here. We want it to use its own vertices. That means we want to use the actual physical makeup of this mesh to cut up our building. Now, if I go to wireframe here, I think it's under here. You could see this building is just a bunch of, it's very simple. It's just a bunch of planes. So what I should do is I'm going to go to edit mode here and hit A, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to subdivide it. And I'll do that a couple times. And what that'll do is that will give me more faces for this thing to blow up. So I'll subdivide these faces too. Actually, I don't even know why it's not subdividing those faces, but that's okay. This is good enough. So let me go back to cell fracture here. And so, where's that at? Quick effects, cell fracture. Now, the number of pieces that I want this thing to blur, I wish it would just stay open. I don't know why. This is going to bother you guys too to no end. Is every time you click off of it, it closes. It makes me nuts. How many pieces you want this thing to blow up with is here. I'm okay if you have a computer that's not that powerful. If you just make this 100 or 50, just to satisfy the sense of the assignment. I'm going to make this 500. I have a more powerful computer. If you have an awesome computer, go ahead and like crank it up. Maybe try 1,000. Again, don't don't go too crazy because you're going to be like hating your life because it's going to take a million years for it to blow up those pieces. The next thing is recursion. That's how thin or small the pieces are. So I'm going to make it one. I'm going to make it like for recursion, I'm just going to type the number one here and I'm going to make that a one. And so essentially, the next thing is we want to assign a material. This material is going to be this destroyed building material. So this is slot zero. This is slot one. I'm going to go to one. So what that's going to do is all of those pieces that blow up, they're going to have this different material color. The reason I'm going with the different material color is really just to show you guys that the difference between the two buildings that are destroying. Generally, you'll create a new material, but the texture will be a brick texture or something. Next, we want to, these are called collections. You could see here that, no, I closed it. Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Those are collections. Inside of a collection, you can store things. I want this building, which I'm going to call this King building, just so we can. So here's King building. This King building, I'm going to put all of the pieces. When I go to this cell fracture tool, let me do own verts. Sorry about this, everybody. And then we'll do 500 pieces. And we'll do recursion one. And then collection, I'm going to do KB. It's going to make a new collection and it's going to put all of the blown up pieces in that one building. And then for material, I'm going to go to zero. This starts at slot zero. This starts at one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save it. And I'm going to hit OK. And now we just have to wait. Now, because this only has 500, you're going to notice that it's not perfect. And so in your films, like when you make actual films or something cool, see how there's like a couple pieces here that are broken? When you guys and notice that this jog wheel is still going, you don't want to touch it or you'll crash the blender pretty much right now. So you want to crank that number up. You want to be on a powerful computer, and you want. Oh, it didn't. Oh, I forgot to hit KB for the collection. That's okay. I'm going to because it already has them all selected. You could see here. I'm going to hit Control M, Shift M, or no. Sorry. Let me hit Escape. Shift G, I think. Yeah. Is it Control G? Yeah, create new collection, and the collection name I'm going to name KB. I'm going to hit enter. Oh no, Shift M, new collection, and I'll call this KB pieces and hit create. And then that'll create a thing here by hitting Shift M. Now I can right click on this and do select objects. And this will select all of those pieces. Notice though, it did not apply this destroyed building texture because I think it registered. Yeah, so this is the initial material. That would have been zero. This is one. So it really just applied, it didn't apply destroyed building. That's okay. I'm going to select destroyed building here. I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to go to edit mode and I'm going to press A and that should select all of those pieces. Let me hide um, that king building there. And I'm going to hit assign and that should have, yeah, that'll assign uh, all of those pieces to that. Yeah, that'll assign that texture to it. So there's our building. Now you might be like, cool, you blew up the building. Now let's see it crash. Well, if I go like this, it doesn't work. The reason for that is there's different levels, there's different steps to this. First, you have to fracture the building. So that's what we did. We took the building, we copied it, and we blew it up. So I'm going to hit select objects. The next thing you need to do is apply a physics system to this building. So I'm going to go to object here, and I'm going to go down to rigid body here, and I'm going to click add active. What this allows this to do is it allows it to have each one of these pieces are going to have a physics object on it. So if I go here to physics, you could see as I click through this, they have different active pieces. So now when I hit space, let's see what happens. Notice it falls directly through the ground. And the reason for this is because we haven't told it what it's going to collide with. So I'm going to select this ground plane here. And because it's only one piece, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add the rigid body here and I'm going to make this passive. I'm going to hit Control C because Blender loves to crash on me. And I'm going to hit spacebar and I'm going to let this building explode. Crash. Now notice these pieces are going through these buildings, right? I don't want that. I also don't think I need 250 frames. So what I'm going to do is hold shift and go to backspace here and I'm going to make these buildings also. I'm going to add a rigid body to each one of these. Because I'm selecting multiple ones, you have to go to object here, rigid body, add passive, or it won't add them to each one. And now I'm going to hit Control S to save it and I'm going to hit spacebar. And what you'll notice is these pieces will bounce off of that building. See that? See how they're pushing up against that building? Now, my demo isn't covering the, like, remember, there's hours of content that I've already recorded on how to shoot a missile into this building, how to make somebody run through it. I'm not going to go through all of that because I really want you to go through that stuff and do it, to do that on your own. But I am going to show you in this how to animate because I think that's important between the king building pieces here and the king building here, right? So this is king building, and what I want is I want this to be visible, right? King building. Let me go to and here's king building, and then KB pieces. Are they not? Am I missing something? What's going on here? How come I could still see it? Uh, is it underneath here? Oh, there's a second one here. Interesting. What's this one? Oh, this is actually nothing. What? Sorry, bear with me. Okay, this is the good one. Okay, let's see. Select objects. What is this? Are they linked? Sorry, guys. I was that guy who's easily amused or entertained. Okay, so let's turn this on. Select objects. Forgive me, guys. I might have to just redo that build really quick. So delete, delete. I'm going to copy this Object. So what's good about it is once you run one fracture, it'll like so if I go to quick effect cell fracture here, notice it did remember KB here. So it was KB. Okay, let me delete this one. Okay. Object. Yeah, let's do that one more time. There we go. Oh, this time it did register that destroyed material. Oh no, it didn't. It just did some of it. Okay. I'm gonna just apply that material. Bear with me. Forgive me for a second, everybody. All right. So I'm gonna right click, select objects, tab, edit mode, click off of it, make sure I'm in face mode, hit A to select all the faces, go back to materials, and I'm gonna select that destroyed building material. Okay. All right. So back to object mode. All of these pieces are selected. I'm gonna go to object, um, rigid body, add active. I'm gonna hit Control S to save this, and then I'm gonna hit spacebar to let the simulation run. Now this building, I'm going to add the new building texture. I think I had them both selected. All right, so this building, let's go back and let's hide these guys for a second. Tab, edit mode, hit A to select all those faces. Select this and hit assign. Okay, so that should be good. All right, so we have this building here. We have two materials, destroyed building and new building. Now, new building, what we're going to do is I'm going to say, so let me hide this for a second. I'm going to save this. I'm going to say new building. I'm going to animate it. So here's the alpha. I'm going to go ahead and click this button here, which keys it. You can see it added a key here. And what that did is the alpha is how transparent the building is. So let's say all the way up to frame 30, because that's 1 second. Or we could even say 60 seconds. And we'll make this 200 frames. Let's go 59 seconds. I want this building to be visible. And then on frame 60, I'm going to make this invisible. So I'm going to turn that on. So what you could see here is as I'm going through this, at frame 60, this building turns off. So on frame 59, what that means is these buildings here, right? I'm going to save this. On frame, just bear with me for a second. So do you see how this building is starting on 0? We have to go into this slot here and then go to um, where's rigid body world, and I want to say I would like this under cache. I would like the simulation to start on frame 60. So now let me save it just in case it crashes. If I go here, you could see all the way on frame 60, it starts blowing up. You see that? So if I hit spacebar here, you could see it starts to destroy. But honestly, I don't like that. Let's see, speed 1. Mission start 60. Let's see, maybe we make it zero point 0.5. Let's see. There we go. Now it's collapsing in on itself. I don't know why it wasn't collapsing in on itself before. Let's rerun the simulation. So I'm going to make this speed 1 and I'm going to hit spacebar here. There we go. Now the simulation is breaking all the way to 250. All right, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this material here, destroyed building, right, which is on the destroyed building. And on frame 59, I'm going to key that. I'm going to set that to 0. And let me actually remove wireframe so we don't get a lot of that ugly darkness. And then on frame 60, it gets set to 1. So I'm going to key that. And let's make sure that I am selecting this object so you guys can see. So here's frame 59, not there, 60, it's here. Actually, I might want to just move all of these over by one frame. Yeah, there we go. So for a split second, they're there together, and then the one is gone. Okay, now here's the other thing. I'm going to go up to simulation world. If you render it right now, it's probably going to crash. So I'm going to hit Control S to save this. So let me click off of this and let me select this and go to select objects. And let's see. Go here. What you want to do is you want to bake this simulation down into the keyframes. So it's going to bake all of that physics down and it's going to make it a clean animation. Otherwise, this thing is going to blow up. Like it'll crash your computer because it's going to be rendering out all that data at once. But if I hit bake here, what it'll do is it'll take all of that and it'll clear that data and it'll cache it into a file. So let's see. There we go. So now I'm going to go back to my camera here and I'm going to lock it. Let's see if I like this. And I'm going to go ahead and either hit Control F12 or let's set up our render settings. So I want to make sure that I'm rendering a movie for Alex's assignment. I'm going to throw this in the videos, Blender VFX, city explosion. I'm going to hit accept. And again, I'm letting you out early, so that's why we're not taking a break or anything right now. And I'm going to hit Control and F12. And then let's watch oh, wait. Why is it rendering the building underneath? I don't like that. Uh, Hold on. I'm going to hit escape and close this really quick. Oh, it's not that it's rendering the building underneath. I never set this material to 0 on 59 and keyed it. All right, let's try that one more time. Control S, F12. Wait, what? Oh, because this first frame here, I'm going to delete that frame. So this should be 0 here. Key that. This should be 0. Key that. Yeah, that's why. And then this will be 1. Okay. And I'm not sure. I got to look into why I'm getting this ugly sort. I think it's casting. See all these lines? It's actually casting shadow information from that building. So I've got to make sure it doesn't do that. But for now, don't worry about it. So boom, it switches to this building and it crashes. Just showing you the difference. And then with your significant other, you can get a glass of wine and you know, get a glass of wine and watch your animations and just enjoy your day. All right, I'm gonna hit escape. I think it should just let me see it. And then I'm gonna review the assignment one more time. Let's see, documents. Uh, oh, not documents, videos. And then let's see. Here we go. Boom. Look how cool that looks. And then next week we're gonna talk about particle effects like smoke and all that good stuff. All right, lastly, let's go back to the assignment and which is where? Here? No, that's not it. Here? No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. So, did you not see? So, for the grad students, and again, really all of you, I want you to try to incorporate that guy running. Uh, okay. So, with that, for the graduate students, it doesn't have to be 3 to 5 minutes. I need to edit it. It really could only be 1 to 2 minutes. You guys saw that video right there was like 3 seconds. And the reason for that, but it has to be maybe this you for those of you who are not grad students and you're working by yourself, 1 to 2 minutes. For those of you who are working with somebody else, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. All right. Let's questions. I know
I
that
I
was a
have a
lot.
question.
Thank you, Jesse.
So like at the very beginning when we had to add the little add-ons to so we can create like the buildings and all of that.
Yes.
For each new project, do we have to keep like re-adding that add-on, or is it gonna like stay in our Blender application from now on? Like,
Excellent question. The short answer is once you do the add-on, right? If you don't go down here and you click Save Preferences, you'll have to add them every single time.
gotcha. Thank
But
you.
if you do that, 100% you're golden.
All right,
Any other
thank you.
questions? You're welcome, Jesse. Any other questions? Does anybody think this is cool?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully you're not hating your life and you're like, why did I take this class? The good news about it is there's very little modeling and it's a lot of like click here, click there, move this, move that. Does that make sense? And like getting used to moving around a 3D interface for those who aren't used to it. Like how do I move this stuff? So, any other comments? Give me 3 comments and then I'll let you guys go.
I do have a question. Can you show how you made the sidewalks again? And then my other question is, how do we collaborate? Because I'm a graduate student, how do I collaborate with another grad student with like our projects together since we're online?
Perfect. That was well. Next class we're going to be in person. Today was just online because I didn't want you guys to get sick or frostbite or something. Um, oh, I get what you're saying during this one. That was going to come next. I wanted all of the grad students to stick around, or anybody who wanted to collaborate on a project to stick around, like after I'm done. But really, if I go in here, I'll show you really quick. Uh, the way that I created the sidewalk is I hit Shift A to make a plane. And like I said, you guys are going to have access. This is all being recorded, by the way, and I'm going to upload this to. I'm going to upload it right to where the other stuff. The like if we go back to the lesson here, I'll show you where it's at. And we go into lessons. I'm just going to throw it. It'll be above this video here. It'll just be called. It will be with today's date, and it'll be called Classroom Lectures. So tab, edit mode, grab your cut tool or hit Control R, and you just add a bunch of cuts. And if I hold the left mouse button down, I can create like the street. I can create a sidewalk and create another sidewalk. And then I can go to face mode here, select this face. Let's go ahead and grab our move or selection tool. And then I hit E like elephant and move it down. And there's the street. You can just get kind of creative like I did where you start cutting out random paths. It's going to be trial and error at first. You're going to be like a little frustrated like, but it's not too difficult. All right, anyone else?
Um, is there a way to not cut through the whole thing, or when you render it, will you not see like the lines? Because
Not cut
you
through.
the other cuts have like on the one that you already did, a couple of the
Hmm.
cuts go under the buildings, like the buildings in the back, but does that
Oh
not
yeah.
really matter if you raise and lower it?
It doesn't matter because you could select the individual faces and extrude them.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should be okay. I mean, to be honest with you, like, let me show you something. This is how we do it in games and film. But again, that would be an entire class within itself. If you look up Kit Bash environment art, like, let's see what this is like a somebody, I think this is in Blender too. Oh, this is ZBrush environment. Where's the Kit Bash? Uh, Here, this is on the Blender Marketplace. So you guys, if you have a couple extra bucks, you got $10 and you want to add this to your assignment, you can. But you see how there are all these weird pieces? You take all these weird pieces and you put them together and you could make a city. So like if you like and again it's just called Kit Bash. See it said Kit Bash pack. Here's a sci-fi Kit Bash pack. And I'm assuming this guy shows the individual pieces, but this is you just make a bunch of pieces and you stick them together, you know? And if you really look at like the world, like here, I'm gonna go to maps google.com and I'll type in like Art Institute Chicago. I want to show you that the world is a kit bash. Can I go here? Oh, that's in the building. Oh, that's kind of neat. I'll just go here. If you see that, like, look at the Art Institute. You really have to only model one pillar and then duplicate it a bunch of times, right? Same thing here. You could just model this section and then duplicate it. So, they say the world is a simulation. Well, here you go. Like, whoever is like modeling the world is lazy because like all these windows are the same. Like, it's just the same thing modeled once, duplicated 1,000 times. So, all right. Any other observations, questions? Okay, grad students, stick around. The rest of you can go. I want to team you up so that you guys can start on this assignment. Again, you'll have a week. Like I said, I'll probably extend it to next class, the night before next class, because I need you guys are gonna have to present your pieces next class. All right. All right. So let me
you.
stop recording.
All right, thank
Welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.